All right, everyone. Welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 16th to the 22nd of 2017. So today, or this week rather, we've got a new moon on Thursday. And it is going to be a very, I think, a beneficial new moon, at least easy to work with. It's going to be conjuncting up to Jupiter. It is going to be opposite up to Uranus because Jupiter has been opposite Uranus this year. But balance, I think, we'll talk about how to work with that. But all in all, I think being next to where Jupiter's been transiting really does accentuate opportunity. And the opportunity is collectively for our personal growth and development, which is what Virgo represents, right? The things we do have control over, which is ourself, our environment, how we respond to our environment, things like this. And so a new beginning with this. This is actually the second new moon in Virgo that we've had. We had the last one in Virgo as well. So integrating collectively more of this energy of practicality, taking care of things, organization, personal discipline, self-discipline, things like that. So that's really the most important thing this week as we approach Thursday. There will likely be a lowering of energy as we approach the new moon. It's great on Thursday to listen to what might be shaping up in our life, but of course it's always good to give it some time. Even after the new moon, it's still a subtle time where the energies will slowly start to build, but I think next week will be an excellent time for implementing whatever these new beginnings are. So let's go and look at all of this here in more detail. All right, so here's the chart for the new moon. I'll do a separate video on this, of course, for the daily, but let's go and take a look at this week in terms of how things are unfolding as we approach Thursday. So not a whole lot going on astrologically, but it looks like an easier week because October has had some very challenging weeks, actually. These past few weeks have been very challenging. So it's nice to get a bit of a break with this, and I think it will collectively feel like that. Of course, our personal charts are the most important for that. But yeah, there is that bit of a pause, it seems like. So coming into Monday, we will still have the moon in Leo on Monday from last weekend. So Monday is, I think, still an expressive day or creative day, maybe having some fun, entertainment, things like that. And there's this very stabilizing energy about the day as well with the sun sextile Saturn. So good for anything that does require responsibility, productivity, work, career, things like this. But I think just generally having this more stable sense of our being, which can be channeled into whatever we want with the sextile, but at the very least, just feeling, I think, a bit grounded. So then as we get into about Tuesday, Wednesday time, the moon will be then going into Virgo where the new moon will be. So we'll likely start to feel that, again, Virgo energy of integrating this, this pragmatic side of ourselves, right? Finding solutions, what we can fix in our life, or maybe about ourselves, right? That self-improvement, and striving towards perfection, but remembering that there is no ideal perfection. There is no perfection, actually, but striving towards that, right? Through self-improvement, through personal development. It's just such a great way of working with Virgo. So on these 2 days, though, which will be the ending phase of that lunar cycle, it is again, lowered energy time, really good to listen, maybe get a bit of rest or whatever it is, or meditate, things like this. But Mercury is going to be conjuncting Jupiter. So while the energies are low, there is this, I think, buoyant energy about these couple days. We've got the planet of our mind, Mercury, conjunct up to the planet of expansion, the other side of our mind, which is about possibilities and potentials and adventurousness, right? So can make it a very good couple days for accessing that adventurous spirit. But if it's more internalized, which likely will be for most of us, philosophy, higher learning, higher studies, sharing our wisdom, learning from others, learning about other people's views and perspectives on life and things like this. Very top down when it comes to Jupiter. So that's going to be, I think, the theme for these couple days, and then of course the new moon on Thursday. Now, it just so happens that on Thursday, the sun will be opposite up to Uranus exact. So this new moon has a very close opposition up to Uranus. And so there's likely some things that we're wanting to break free with when it comes to around Thursday. At the end of the day, I think it is about surrendering and having faith and trust. That's been Uranus transiting Pisces, helping us see the freedom of when we surrender and have faith and trust. Now, typically new moons don't require balance like this. Usually the full moons are balanced, right? Because you have the sun and moon opposite each other. But in this case with Uranus, balance. And I think the balance point is that while we're developing the things we do have control over right now, which is just fantastic with Virgo, we are letting go of what is outside of our control, which is the Pisces side of it, and that could be very freeing. So if you are feeling a bit of erratic energy, wanting to break free, or you feel like you need some more freedom in your life, perhaps it's the freedom of Pisces, the freedom of faith, trust, letting go of what's outside of our control, and then that can help us continue to cultivate what is with Virgo. So of course, we'll look to see which house this is for all of you here just a few minutes. But this is generally the collective energy we're dealing with. And as you can see, it's also forming a kite. So there is support, minor support from Saturn, giving us stability, which is again, the energy from early in the week. And then even as a not so personal touch, a support to our life path. You may notice that there's an undercurrent really leading you towards your path, whatever that is for you personally at this time. And Mercury's still very close again, even to the new moon. So it could suggest some new ideas. And again, with Jupiter, some new perspectives. And I think Jupiter, you know, this is about seeing the big picture. I think, like I said, this new moon is about opportunity. So I think collectively there is a dose of open-mindedness, which is great. So utilize that, right? Jupiter by himself doesn't really create anything. It just might give us a bit of inspiration and help us see some opportunities we'd otherwise not see because we're open-minded. But it is up to us to actually cultivate them. So I think it's an excellent week for that. Like I said, give it some time. A lot of this energy will be developing through this next month here. All right, so that's the major aspects of the week. And then the weekend does have the moon shifting into Libra on Saturday, Sunday. So it could be a weekend of finding balance in our life, maybe particularly with our relationships. Usually when the moon's here, we have a lot of this willingness to cooperate, work with others, give and take. There could be matters pertaining to justice, morality, doing the right thing, just as a sort of backdrop. And then as we get into the second half of Sunday, maybe a bit deep. And going into next week, the moon will be in Scorpio and Ophiuchus. So really good for healing, transformation, which I'll talk about in the daily forecast. All right, so let's go and look at all of this for the individual signs now. There's timestamps down in the comment section. You can click the time next to your signs. I do recommend watching this for your sun, moon, and ascendant. If you don't know your moon or ascendant sign, there is a chart calculator down below as well. All right, so I'll see you in those videos.